jazz or trip hop, maybe? Trip hop.
Trip hop?
You never heard of trip hop?
You get cooler each time I talk to you.
Well, you hop on the stage in this intro video. Let's go.
You got one life, for crying out loud. You might as well just give it all you got.
The Deej, Dan Jordan.
Your daily dose of reality. Your daily dose of the Deej.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I need my daily dose of the Deej.
I make the news. I don't watch the news. I'm a leader.
The Sales Energizer, Dan Jordan.
Listen, don't worry how to sell, baby. Worry about why people buy. And it's fun.
You don't need a 5-hour energy. All you need is the Sales Energizer.
Just when I think it's not going to be as fun as the one before, each one gets successfully better. What's the word I'm looking for? What's it going to take to get you into this car today, huh?
And now, please welcome the Sales Energizer, Dan Jordan.
Boom!
That's exactly it. Do that. Let's do that. You know, I was about to say something, but I saw that last view, Victor Antonius at the end, and he's like this. He's like, what the hell's going on?
That usually happens once a show. It's just doesn't always get caught on camera like that, right?
That's right. Just started laughing. Chris Stone, here we are again.
Deej,
Look at this.
good to see you. Hey, listen, it's the best part of any Wednesday at noon for me is this.
It's the best day of the week. Like, by the way, every day's the best day of the week. I'm a big fan of enjoying the day where you are. People do that. They're like, what was your favorite year? Now. This is number one. This is as good as it gets. The day you say to yourself, oh man, the best days are behind me. I mean, you're screwed. Nothing good can happen. I mean, your brain won't even, I'm on a rant. Hold on a second. Your brain won't even let you think forward. It's like I used to talk about the yes attitude. You say yes and can you do that? Yes. And automatically your mind starts figuring, how do I do it? Even if you don't know how to do it, you're saying yes. And so your mind does it. And so you used to play that game, that game, that improv game, yes and. So let's play yes and you and me.
Oh God.
Okay,
oh God. Okay. All right. It's live. Let's go.
A boy bought a big balloon and went to the racetrack. And you say yes and yeah, make something up.
He placed a bet for more money than he had in his bank account.
Yes, and then the cops came and put a pin in his eyeball. And then you say?
Then the cops called an ambulance, which was late, so the policeman had to improvise.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
Okay.
And so the
game is yes and it's not no he didn't.
Right, because as soon as someone says no, you can't think of anything else. Your brain shuts off. It's the difference between the people that say I can't and I can. It's the difference for the people who say I don't know how to, or I don't think it can be fixed, to the one who just says let's find a solution. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is our next guest has gone through like 1,000 iterations of not just his business, but who he is as a person. The one thing that has remained the same with this man who I have known for years is that he is constantly effectively improving some part of his life every single day. And I'm just pleased as punch to be able to get him on this show in his incredibly busy schedule. So without any further ado, please help me welcome my friend and yours, Rich Hart.
Oh, how's that? All right. Does that work?
I feel like my arms are small though. I mean, fantastic.
What could I possibly say? What can I possibly say?
You know what? The first time I met Rich Hart, it was at Toastmasters, and he was giving a speech talking about the time where he was on, I guess you were a bodybuilder at one point. Right. And he brought out This is how he started his speech. I wore these, and it was the pants that he wore. It was like underwear that you wouldn't see on a girl in
It
Carnival.
was red dental floss. Work it out.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. That's what it was. All right.
It was very exciting.
I take those out of my drawer. And my wife goes, "Put those back. That's ridiculous." You know.
That was awesome. Hey, tell us about that bodybuilding. So, was it a contest or was it just you? It was Halloween.
No, it was funny you should say that. I thought it was Halloween, but for the most part, it was contest. That was my last bodybuilding opportunity competition out there. If I'm not mistaken, I was 48, 49 years old. And I says, I got to give this one last shot. And so that's what we did. Blowing shoulders, blowing knees, blowing ankles. I was able to get through this one. All right. Non-drug in a drug show and still placed in the top 3. And so that was pretty good. So the funniest thing, guys, I did it in 6 months. So, hey, I believe anybody can do what they can do if and when they put their mind to it. So 6 months down to like 1.5% body fat. I think we could all do it.
That is crazy. Tell me what this is. I know we're going to talk about sales and we're going to talk about building businesses, but a lot of that is discipline. What did a daily eating efficiency? What did it look like with your daily eating consumption?
325 grams of protein a day. All right. Most people can't get in 70. All right. So that means I eat every chicken. All right. And I did this on a semi-vegetarian diet, no less. All right. Chicken, fish, and turkey. If it flies and swims, I'll eat it. If it grazes, you best leave it out there, but it was an amazing 6 months. Will I ever do it again? Probably not, but for the most part itself, it was just another notch in the belt, another path along the way, and another opportunity itself. Say, yeah, I did it. Wrote the book on it too, as well, without a doubt.
That's right. You can get, you have that for the rest of your life that you did it. By the way, people have that for the rest of their life, even if they failed at it, but they tried.
Sure. I mean, it's a very small percentage of the individuals get that opportunity to do that. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. The hardest thing is the first push-up. The hardest thing is the first phone call. The hardest thing is the first time just to walk in the door and do all that stuff. So why don't we do this? Why don't you tell us how you describe yourself now when you're somewhat older than 40?
Still 40, still 48. All right.
Okay.
No, not at all. Still active, still do what I do. I don't drink, don't smoke, don't do drugs. Living in the South for probably about 30 years. Don't say y'all and fix in one sentence. Never ate at a Waffle House. All righty. But this is just me. This is who I am. I mean, I'm just what I do. And whatever I have as an opportunity, I take it. If there's a challenge, I'll eat it, but I think one of our great friends out there, Jim Dawson, always says, you are one of the most focused individuals that I've ever seen. And then a lot of my plans and programs and a lot of my talks and speeches and keynotes themselves are all based upon that. Just focus. It's the first opportunity to create what we call an unlimited success. That's my life. That's what I've always lived. And that, I don't know, let's call it my mantra. Okay. And maybe that's what works out the most.
Well, you're very focused, but you're focused on a multitude of things. It's like,
it's funny. I don't believe in that word. I can't even spell niche. Spectrum. I have no idea what niche spells like. I have no idea. Yeah. But the thing is that there's always an alternative. There's always an opportunity, and where those alternative and opportunities themselves, I'm going to find myself. And there's an array.
So rattle off
an array of different companies. So it is what it is.
Well, if you had to rattle off. And when I say rattle off, try to do it a little slower so people can catch it. What are the things you're doing right now? And you could finish off with Rich Hart Global Studios, which is the big one. But there's like 10 things ahead of that.
Good enough. In the speaking and presentation industry and communication industry for 30 years. This is the 30th year itself. I've been doing this for keynotes and running around the world. All righty. 20 years as an international real estate broker, 15 years as an international financial consultant, Past there, still carry a lot of my specialty contract work that I do for the branches of the military. And then on top of that, many other entities come like within what we're doing there too as well. But I think the biggest one that we're working on right now, and I've done it before, and building what we've done here, 12,000 square foot of the most eclectic and most original recording, podcast, audiocast, videocast, webcast, simulcast recording studios that I think that's on the planet right now. All right, utilizing very specialized technology and utilizing some of the best people in the industry to do what we do here. And I think that's it's a love. I don't go to work anymore. I come here to play. And so if you love what you do what you love, then it doesn't become work, you know? So hopefully that's very simple out there, you know?
Yeah. So you don't have to travel out as much. You can have the people come in. And was that a shift in your business?
Yeah, well, that was a focus. I mean, you got to figure as when I first came into the facility, and Dan, you've been in a facility, Chris has been in a facility many times too as well. When I first came to the facility, it was a live facility. All right. And from that standpoint, it was strictly only live. It was when we got beat up on the world of COVID that I had to switch gears. All right. And I think we've all switched gears. Everybody had the opportunity to turn around and say, look, we've got to either change or we're going to die. And that's what it became. And so as everybody was climbing through that world of, all right, so what do we do? We're live, and then we go from virtual, and then we go into hybrid. Already, when we talk about audio and video and things of this nature, it was a hybrid jump. It's not something you can really, you could probably take a simple camera and maybe a 4-channel mixer, microphone, and everything individually, cheap. You can get yourself down and dirty, be inside a Zoom world, and still conduct business. But in here, what we were doing is I was recreating what I've done 30 years on the road. All right, and going to each location, or whether it be, you know how this works, could be a hotel, it could be the back of somebody's garage somewhere, whatever the case may be, it could be anywhere. But I wanted to say, over the 30 years, I said, if I was to have this type of facility, okay, now mind you, coming from my long extent is even past there already, studio drummer, studio musician, music is in my family and everything else from past tense things. So there was a lot of integration in doing what I do, from not only the speaking presentation, not only from the training and development programs, but also from the music and tying in the music industry. So I wanted this whole giant sized location that would be able to accomplish all, but knowing over, let's just say, Chris, DJ, all right, over the last 30 years, I wanted to build a facility, all right, that was unique. And out of everything I seen that had been on the road with, concrete chairs, tables falling apart, I didn't want that in the facility. I wanted people to be comfortable, and I wanted the environment to be tasteful and engaging. And so individuals themselves have the opportunity to come through the front door, and they just like, this is my content. How do I go? Where do I go? And that's what we built the facility. It's pretty unique in that regards. Hopefully that helps out.
Yeah, no, it's great. Well, let me ask you, because it is unique, and when people come there, what would you say is the most common, or what would you say is the best compliment you've gotten from that place? I
still look good at age 60. Is that? Oh, it's
no. Listen, well, that's what I would say. And so that's.
I tell people, I said, if I get the contract work and everything else, is I do 3 things: I look good, tell jokes, and collect money. That's what I do. Hopefully, it's up by the end of the day. It's all done. All right. But
well, I mean, about the place, are people, when they walk in there, what's their comments? What's the thing that they most? I'm looking for people. It's like, if you were to say, what is your perfect client? What are the people who are most grateful for what you have there? Who is that person?
Well, you get a lot of different individuals coming in, the type of clientele we bring in, from the higher levels to the individuals themselves that just want to start their program, their development. Already, maybe someone that comes in and writing a book, or an individual comes in and has this aspiration itself to do a podcast or a video cast, or maybe do something on stage. A lot of the times the individuals that come in, and they don't know what to expect. That's for sure. All right. But when they come into the facility, There are choice 4-letter words that they use already. It usually prefaces by holy, and then they use their own words to it. The additional pieces also come in is that people don't believe, all right, that this is actually in this type of facility. And so when they look and they go, wow, this is incredible. And that says over the many years, that's what I wanted to do. If I could find incredible and build incredible, and what we do, not only from the look and feel of the location, but from the technology. And we're on the latest and greatest of the technology runs already, and to really bring that technology to the forefront so individuals have a fighting chance. Chris, you know as well as I do, we got one chance to get it right. That's it. One chance. All righty. And if it doesn't come through, Deej, we got one chance to get it right. And so that's where
you got to learn some editing. That's what you got to do. You got more than that. So your place there, you have you talked about technology. You know, you could be, cutting edge technology today, and in 15 minutes, it's a musket. So do you keep upgrading?
Minutes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we keep on upgrading as the technology changes, already. You'll find me at different conventions, different shows. When we start talking about the broadcasting shows and things of this, NAB and things of this nature, you'll find me there all the time, very inquisitive about what's going on with the technology. Already, simple, just in lighting, how lighting has changed direct. Lighting's a big thing.
Explain that. What do you mean by that?
Because lighting itself was originally a light bulb. Okay. Edison, I think, did a great job. All right. But when it comes down to video and really coming through on green screen and doing different types of lighting for different sets, and Back Me is one of our stage sets. But in the fact itself of lighting a stage set, lighting a green screen, okay, they started moving the LCDs. And when they started moving the LCDs, we even had problem with that. And so now the new lighting and the new corporation is phosphorus lighting. And so it's going to give a more current, more coverage, and a more even flow of lighting. And so basically what happens is, in the technology side of it, the sets look great, the cameras look great, the views look great. But when we get it down to post or final editing, we notice we got shadows all over the place. And so if I can control that the first time in, guess what? I'm increasing a little bit of productivity and profitability, giving a better product and spending a lot less time in the final edits. And so that's, if we're going down that road of technology, that's where I'm going. All right, I want to make sure itself we have the latest and greatest that's going to help me to do what I need to do to deliver a final product that somebody's going to be very, very happy with.
Well, so then how do you do it? See, I'm looking at you, and I know you, and I know the training that you do and all that par excellence. But at the end of the day, you're really an entertainer. I mean, that's your background. You were talked about being in music and all that stuff. So I understand that you like it. You're on the stage. You can do that. Now, there are people, a lot of people who are smart as a whip. They got great technical skills. They know their subject matter better than anybody else. And they may want to do some. This is the ritualistic one phone call during the show.
Every show, Rich.
Yeah, so I
got
I like that. That's good.
Yeah. We gotta keep it even. This is about the time. They don't have that kind of entertainment bug in their body that's able to come out on a whim. Do you assist people in that? That's the first question. The second question is, I want you to think of a story where somebody really bombed and everybody wants to hear about it. So do you assist people in helping the program?
Show, huh? Dan, when creating what we do here, already, it was very instrumental, to making sure that we develop from seat to table. Okay, we hear the comments all the time of developing from a seat to table concept, but we do have individuals that come in and they may say, well, I have an idea, or I have a particular book, or I have a concept. And then when we start pulling that concept out, all right, not only from a marketing standpoint, not only from a sales standpoint, not only from a direction or development standpoint, all right. And then what we're going to do is we're now going to leverage, all right, your type of skills, natural tools, talents, resources, all right, against the time, and leverage, all right, to what is you want to accomplish. So all right, somebody comes in, they turn around and they says, well, I got a book and I want to speak. I want to do a podcast. Before we put the cart before the horse, all right, let's find exactly what it is we want to do to get you going. A lot of these folks themselves, They need to get paid. They need to get paid right away. All right. So how do we engage, all right, those individuals? And we don't do it by, oh, you need a website, so go get a website. It's not about that. It's just that what we'll do is let's really identify, all right, cut it down to the chase is who do you want to service? What's the audience? Who are the people, the talent you want to reach out to? And what is it you want to accomplish? And then we take a look at time frame. Because within our sales planning, like you do, okay, within our marketing planning, within the development plans, everything else we go forward, there's a key. And what we do is we follow the key, we put a timeline, and we start to assess what's the highlights and what the individuals themselves really want to accomplish. Like I said before, from beginning to middle end in the time frame they want to do it. All right. So somebody comes in and they go, hey, I want to do a podcast. I'll start podcast. Well, okay, great. So let's tell me about what you got going first, and then we can start ironing into that. So planning, number key one piece out there for individuals themselves. They need a plan. All right. And that's where most people fail. So
you set up their podcasts to the point where it's is it a certain amount of shows, and how does it get distributed, or you don't bother with the distribution?
No, we do everything from soup to nuts. You know me, all right. I'm not going to leave anything unturned. All right. So we have our own platforms for it. We have our own media escape, what we call it, media escape plans. And so if they need a particular place to host and they need social size to be developed and they need website to develop.
Got it. Okay. So you're a whole media company now.
It's a one-stop
I'm
shop.
a Walmart, right?
Got it.
Except maybe not 24/7, right?
So who then? Okay. So this is good then. So who's your perfect client? Like, who benefits from you the most? Is it an individual contributor? Is it an individual coach, consultant, trainer, speaker? Is it a company that needs to improve their sales team and wants to do convention stuff there? And you're not allowed to say everything.
All right, I'm going to stay away from everything.
Yeah.
Remember, we prefaced it in the beginning of the conversation. There's a lot of different areas that I climb into. Okay. And so folks themselves, they could be one-offs. And when I say one-offs is that you have a particular goal in mind. You want to do a couple of podcasts. You want to get out there. You want to get your feet wet. Great. But I've seen large production companies. We've seen big training outfits themselves, because basically what we do is when we do it inside, we also do it outside. All right. And so not only from our distribution side of materials and items of usage to make, all right, these types of videos. All right. We're also training on the outside. Tell people, I get people call me all the time and say, we just bought $60,000 worth of equipment and we don't know how to use it. Great. Let me send my team in. Let me see what I can help you. Okay. And I said, I also said, do you have the receipt? All right. And so you can take it back. All right. Because there are easier ways of doing this, But in the beginning itself, I think, Dan, as well as I do, I think the world is changing to how media distribution is getting out, to how people themselves, and we have a greater opportunity through social. We have a great opportunity through web. We have a great opportunity through video. And we see all different types of projects. Studios B and C are currently occupied right now. And they're two completely different shows.
Yeah.
Already. And within that, they're only doing an audio cast, and where B is doing an audio video cast. All right.
And they have a producer there who's dealing with all. Me as the talent, as the rock star talent coming into your place, right. I don't have to do anything but worry about number one.
That's it. That's all I want you to do. I want you to just worry about what you've got, and then basically what our team, depending on what you're looking for, what you want to accomplish, that big thing. Number one reason why individuals don't do as well as they possibly could is because they lack the plan. As well, I know, everybody knows that. All right.
Well, we're going to have a guest on a future show who's running for president of the United States. I met this guy. He's unbelievable. Here he is, Lee Newton Rhodes. And so a future president has a question for you, Rich Hart.
Bring it in. I'll take it.
Well, what platforms do you broadcast on? Amazon Fire, Roku, iHeartRadio?
I'm allowed to say all of the above.
Yeah. And that's interesting.
All of the above.
That's an interesting thing, because that's a common question. People, when they want to start, creating content in any way that they do it, the first thing they go to is the delivery system. You know, they go through the thing, and then, like, that's the easiest part. I mean, the toughest part is to create that content that's right, that the message is right, that it's directed to the right market. But everybody just complains, and then you worry about delivering the stuff to the thing. But
exactly.
I mean, that's just a button.
That's all it is. You know, you gotta tell me what it is you really want to accomplish. And I gotta tell you, DJ.
Well, this guy wants to be president.
We've turned people away. We've turned people away because of the fact itself that when they come in, they said, well, we want you to do this. And I said, well, I'm not here to do that for you. All right. Our job is to set those wheels in motion. So it's going to give you maybe a quicker beeline to the chase. All right. Shortest distance between 2 points, straight line. I'm going to get you to the straight line. All right. And put those pieces in place, you know? So hopefully it's going to be, it's a lot easier.
So if someone's everybody wants to improve their business. So that's the whole thing. They want to improve their business. So let's say I'm a tax accountant. I'm the furthest thing from a tax accountant. But let's say I'm a tax accountant.
You look just like one.
And I need to create content. And I come to you and I say, you know, listen, I need to create content. What would you suggest I do? A podcast? Are you going to put me on camera, or am I going to be on the stage? Tell me. Here's what I want. I want to be a star and the #1 tax accountant in Atlanta.
Love the question. Okay. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify 3 simple points that makes you the best. Okay. Right there. All right. What are the 3 simple points that makes you the best? Then from there, I'm going to turn around and say, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to have you on my show. All right. Rich Hart show. All righty. And then you and I are going to talk. All right, just a bit about what it is you do. And so now we can start to engage. All right. Unless I know what you do, how you do it, why you do what you do, then I'm not going to be able to give you something right off the bat. And so that starts my planning stage. Whether I'm going to turn around and say, yeah, we're going to work with you, or no. All right. I want you to develop just a little further. And then basically what we'll do is give me a 3-point outline. All right. 3rd grade level, D. You know how this works, right?
That's it.
3rd grade level stuff. All right.
Yeah, you're shooting too high for me, but that's good.
But, all right. So let's bring it down to kindergarten. All right.
Boom. Preschool. Let's go.
Level. And if you bring it down to the level, simple cells, you know that, right? And so within the simple cells, identify those 3 points. All right. And then we talk in Toastmasters, we talk in NSA, we talk all those things are from the communication side. Make it simple, because there's 9 times out of 10, your listener, your reader, all right, the individual who's in the room is still not going to understand, because they're only either going to pick up so much, or you're going to be too much. All right. Which I have been before. I've asked people to ask me to shut up because I was way over their head. All right. And that's okay. All right. But it's humbling to me that somebody would say that, so I could actually go back and say, all right, hold on a second. Let's back up. Let's find out what we really need to accomplish here. And I think it is. I think individuals really need to identify what it is they want to accomplish in a very, very simple, easy, step-by-step plan. And hopefully that helps them out.
Yeah. I love how it's not, you don't just have this, because when you do walk into this place, ladies and gentlemen, and you've seen the videos, and we have links in the show notes for you to be able to just see what a wonderful facility that Rich has here in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia. But I love how it's not just, hey, come and use my stuff. No. You can certainly do that, right?
Sure. No.
But it's like
we have a platform for it.
Yeah, but you're like, hey, how can we all succeed in this and make whatever you're doing even better, because you have this history and you're using it as a consultative sort of thing. And it really is, there's so many other, quote unquote studios that don't do that. They just have really nice, expensive equipment like you do. Sure. And they're just, they're just taking rental fees. You're like, listen, this is bigger than that. And I think that's a testament to you as an individual, and you're doing so many things, Rich. But my question here is, what motivates Rich Hart? There's clearer, you have vision, you have this, you're an inspiring individual. What motivates you as a human being every day?
Yeah, so I'd say motivation is a mindset, already, and inspiration is an experience. And through the experiences, through inspiring individuals, we have opportunities to change the mindset, to motivate people, all right, to allow them the opportunity to change on their own, all right. Hopefully that was clear enough. All right. But the fact what motivates me, I'm standing in it. Okay. And it's just the challenge. Here it is. And did you heard me say this many times? Say this, I'm that close from being that far away every single day. And then within that opportunity itself, I can still wake up and I'm motivated by the fact of not only the people that I engage with, not only the staff members that are here, not only the clientele that comes in. And we've seen some wild clientele coming here. Okay. And so not only the clientele, but it's the fact itself that I'm the first one in and I'm usually the last one to leave. All right. In the facility. And there's a sense of humility. All right. Because I didn't do this. I got to tell you right now, I didn't do a thing here. Okay. It was the man above. And I'm a highly believer of my faith and things of this nature. He just told me what I needed to accomplish. And I just turned around and said, hammer this nail. Boom. I hammer this nail. All right, great. Not a problem. But I think from the motivation point, I like to see people advance. I think you get to a certain time and a certain particular position in your life journey. All right. That I'm really gratified when I see people excel and they have a specialized gift. DJ, you got a specialized gift. All right. And excelling in that specialized gift to really make it pronounced. All right. That people now can take that and now show that they are motivated with themselves to accomplish what it is they're set out to do. It's like the premise themselves. People go to the gym. Okay. And after 5 years, they turn around and say, Rich, how come you can accomplish what you did in 6 months? But I've been in 5 years and I look the same way I did when I first came in 5 years ago. And I says, well, it's simple. I says, there's no plan. There's probably a limited amount of direction. All right. But I think this thing is the whole business is the accountability. And how is the accountability working with what you do? Are you accountable for your actions? And I think motivation, Chris, comes in within that factor. You got to be motivated to do. You got to love what you do what you love, which I said earlier. But also you got to be motivated, all right, to want to do what you do. There's too many people themselves that are out there and they go to work day in and day out and they hate their job. Why would you do that? All right, because of the fact itself that you want to be able to eat that night. There's other ways of doing this. And I think, guys, I've always carved the niche, all right, or carved the niche. And I told you before, I don't do niche. But I carved that niche, all right, to continue to say, I'm the one who's in control, all right, or the man above is, but I'm in control of what the next steps I want to take. And then basically what I do is I just shove it right down, all right, and continue to exhaust every last bit of effort I have out there until it actually comes out and says, boom, rock and roll. Okay. Can I sell? Yeah. Can I customer service? Yeah. But I think the biggest thing itself, and I want to be treated the way other people want to be treated. And I'm not seeing that. You know as well as I go, did you know services went down the tubes? All right. Without a doubt. 100%. All right.
It's disturbing.
It is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And
I used to say, I don't do business with people that that I'm not comfortable with their service, but there's any place to do business now.
It's crazy, isn't it?
You got to lower your standards.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think, Chris, to answer the question, I'm motivated by what I do already and the opportunities I have to serve other people and help them through maybe some rougher times, maybe some of the tough times, or maybe through areas of technology or learning already that they would either never have the opportunity to do, or they're just not disciplined enough to open that can of whoop butt. Did I say it that way? All right. Whoop butt. All right. And so what we do is we help and then we engage people that way. You know as well as I do, people themselves, they can go to a motivational speaker. All right. Tony, Jack, any of those guys themselves up there, and they're energized when they come out of there. All right. But unfortunately, the door hits them in the left cheek of the ass on the way out. Already. And then basically they go back to their original self. And so you got to be able to carry that, go forward.
Yeah. Well, so you've managed to surround yourself prior to having this establishment. And then since you've had it, who speaks at your, who are some company? You mentioned NSA earlier. Right. You mentioned Toastmasters. You mentioned who are regulars there by you?
We have basketball. We have NBA players. You have this. I think this is the home of. I get this right here: the singing doctor and the dancing dentist, who debuted out of here too as well. millions of hits, millions of people themselves. You get a lot of individuals themselves that are coming in that are, actually had the Pillow Man here. All right. And Mike
What?
Yeah, Pillow Man was down here. I didn't get a pair of slippers, but from the fact itself, we see just a cross section of individuals, and we're going to be seeing more because of the capabilities and capacities that we put in. Because I'm looking for the higher level guys. There's a tremendous amount of studios going up in the Atlanta area. Atlanta seems to be gravitating, all right, toward those giant size movie sets. And we do the same thing, not as a giant size set, but we have the technology to really make it unique. And so when people come in, it's the flexibility, guys. That's what it is.
I tell that to everybody. If you're a speaker or you want to put together a reel for something, you could stand on your stage. It may not be the biggest place in the world, but on camera, sure looks like it.
It is, without a doubt. 100%.
No.
It's still 45 feet of stage, so don't undercut it there.
Is it 45 feet? That's right.
45 feet. But, in that regards themselves, there's 6 studios in this side. We have 3 color correction studios, editing studios. Foremost technology itself in editing and correction. And then we have the new music studios that are going in, intros, outros, scores, and everything else of this. And we've taken even that technology to the giant size. And then on top of that, we're probably the only studio in the country that's working with a high level of sound technology already, and then working with Fairlight and Pro Tools. And so we have 2 separate mixing and developing studios for those, and then a training studios. And so if I didn't run out of real estate or building right now, but our next piece itself is animation and getting into the animation sides. So I'd like to say, guys, there's nothing I can't do or nothing I can't accomplish. And there's nothing itself, if I don't put my mind to it or my best foot forward, all right, that I'm not going to be able to accomplish, because you got to take it. If you don't own it, you can't take it.
Rich, the other thing I would say is being in your place a number of times. One thing that I noticed was, obviously you're rolling up the sleeves and you're doing the stuff, and you've built this empire that you built. But I looked around and I saw a lot of your team. Yeah. And there was friendly people, whether it was Deb or Jen or whomever that is greeting you. Everything was. So talk about how important the team that you've put around you is in building what you've built.
That is funny you say that, because everybody that comes in, they always compliment on the team, and it's not me. And you know how this works, all right? Because of the fact itself, I'm the guy who does the windows and I vacuum, okay? But it's the rest of the team that really bring in everything, from Rory on the video sides, from David on the editing sides, from Sam, Justin, and Jason already on the audio sides already. And then you got Mike. I see Mike up there. Jose. You got Brian himself that's helped us with some of the outside business development. Then we've got our sales development teams out there. You got Rich up there already, and then doing everything. And then, of course, then you got my lovely daughter, and my wife is up there too as well. And we were all, I think, Chris, it comes down to the service. And everybody knows already that it's service first and everything else is last. And so if it comes to that way itself, knowing that service is almost dead, that's the key driver. And people themselves, they're very, very happy, and I think that's a key component to what we do. We're a big thing on bringing on interns. We bring in a lot of interns out here too as well. And we just brought on 2 more interns from a group, because as one of the local colleges up here, they run these programs. And so basically we have 30, 40, 50 students coming out at one, because they don't know. You're in a classroom and you're talking about what we do, and then they come in, they go, what the heck is this? This is crazy, and then they get a piece of the back end of it. Some people want to know where they got the cookies from. And then we bake them here, believe it or not. We bake them in the studio. We bake cookies in the studio. That's the craziest thing in the world. All right. But the additional piece is that says we didn't even know this type of atmosphere ever existed. And because they want to get it. This is their major. Their major is film. Their major is sound. Their major is editing. All right. But they don't even know something like this exists, and that's the funny part. But
have you ever had people come from here and, go at some of the bigger studios?
Yes. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
What do you mean, from a client wise or from?
No. Like an intern, someone who's
Oh
worked
yeah,
with
without
you
a doubt.
for a while, and
100%. I'm going to say, all right, and I'm going to put a shameless plug out there for Kennesaw State. Okay. And Kennesaw State itself out there working with Bobby and Jeannie and everything else like this. Those guys have been super. We've been a great people, great people for them. But I got to tell you that my last 6 interns, all right, who are now with us full time, all right, came from Kennesaw State. All right. Plus some of our other individuals themselves and my kids, both of my kids are graduates of Kennesaw State, So I'm not partial, but that's who really want to participate. And we've got some great talent. We know, all right, and you guys know me, I'll be the first one to say it. All righty. I can't do everything. I can't. It's virtually impossible. And so what we do is we look for the level of talent, skills, resources, so we can bring those folks in so we can train them. All right, not say train them right, but train them inside this industry and the tools themselves to utilize in the industry. And so to give them a greater advantage. I'd love to say, yeah, these guys are going to be here for 20 years plus. Ain't going to happen. All right. But if I can make a monumental already contribute, all right, to their lifelong or maybe the journey to their success in this field of play, then I consider myself being very successful. But everybody loves it here. They get 3 squares a day, all the donuts they can eat, right? Fresh cookies. Maybe that's what's keeping them here. I don't know. I'm hoping that's not,
fresh cookies. What are they? Those
Secret.
Otis Spunkmeyer. Remember those Otis Spunkmeyer cookies?
Otis
There was some
Spunkmeyer.
good cookies, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah. They would give you the machine and you just buy the dough.
Yeah.
And then you make these Otis
Good
Spunkmeyer.
things.
Pat is all excited.
Who bakes the cookies, Rich?
We do. I do. Believe it or not,
You're the cookie baker. So there's your secret.
We all make cookies out here. Now we have a full functioning kitchen out here.
Everybody bakes the cookies. I love it.
Kitchen out here. It makes it a lot easier to put those, cut those doughs and drop right. The smell of fresh cookies.
Yeah, nothing's better.
Unbelievable. And then you throw
actually, what's great? Get a bread maker. Those bread. The smell of fresh bread. Oh, forget about it. There's nothing better. I did that when I was a stockbroker. I brought my bread machine into the office, and everybody would go, "Who's making bread?" Hey, they're all excited when the bread happens. So bread happens. Your daughter.
What's going to happen?
So
right?
Your daughter's getting married.
Yeah, new company. All right, it's Rich Hart Global Bakery. All right, that's what it's going to be.
Boom. You heard it here first.
Yeah, Jennifer Justin are 2 of my pride and joys. All right, Justin is one of my sound engineers, a musician on the back end too as well. Excellent job. But Jennifer itself, she is the key. She's the light. She's the first point of contact. I got lucky. With 2 of the greatest kids in the world and the greatest wife. But I got real lucky, all right, with my 2 kids themselves wanting to stay in the business and following the footsteps. Not a lot of people can do that, and not a lot of people have the opportunity to do that. But I got 2 of the greatest kids in the world. I guess I'm allowed to be biased, I'm allowed to be biased. But
which one do you like better?
Both. All right.
Yeah.
All of the above. I just make sure we're clear here. All right. Yeah. All of the above.
Wait, so your son's the musician? What does he play?
He's a guitar player. He's on Spotify all the time. We'll do his producing. We'll produce his album down here. And then
what's his name? The Magic of Chris Stone.
The Magic of Chris Stone.
He's put me on
His name is Justin. All right, Justin Hart. All righty, and you'll find him on Spotify under a band called Wisteria. Okay, and so
Wisteria. You mean like the purple tree?
Like the purple tree, Okay. But music runs deep. My brother's a concert pianist. All righty, who will come down to do his work down here. Not the right one. I don't think that's it. That was pretty good, Chris, the way you've been able to pull that up real quick.
It would be even better if it was the right one.
It is. Yeah, that's not it, But
all right.
We'll find
Rich Hart, that actually happened to me. I was out doing a presentation for a company, and I had a bunch of slides. I'm Mr. Slide Man. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm doing this, and prior to the show, I'm sharing them with some lady said, "Oh, I wanted to see something, whatever." So I'm showing her the things, and the first slide of their company was the wrong company.
Oh,
It's
not good.
like the wrong logo, the completely wrong, screwed up the whole. It was like horrifying, you know.
Something about having you back next year didn't
Yeah,
really
that's
equate
right.
out.
I ended it
That
right.
didn't equate
It's
out. Right,
almost
yeah.
as bad as Chris Stone pulling up the wrong wisteria, you know. So we're right.
It's all right. We give Chris a lot of love out there. That's without a doubt. Like I said, we give Chris a lot of love.
That's great. So what's new and upcoming in the future of Rich Hart in the
Well, I'll be back on the road again. All right. We've got enough staff and everything else of this. We'll plan to finish the first runs of these studios themselves by August 15th. All right. Which is real good. I'll be back on the road.
So what's happening for the car buying public that doesn't know? You're opening up new studios?
Yeah, well, this is the music studio. This is the last piece of what we're doing. Like I said, we got 6 studios up here of video and audio already, and then basically the music studios on the back end. The baby grands have already been put in, all the Nord keyboards themselves, all the interfaces, all the samplings themselves were put in. We're now putting in some of the final. We're doing everything, Chris. We're doing everything by Dante. Okay.
Nice.
And so within the whole studio, we've got about 50, 60 lines to run out there with the next couple of days, hooking up the Dante system and things of this nature. So, and in Dante, for those themselves that don't know, it's just everything going through internet and being able to connect the studio. But I think the wildest thing that people themselves, when I do the grand tour around here, we get down to the music studio and I tell them what we do, because it's live, it's virtual, and it's hybrid. All right. And the hybrid is that basically we can bring everybody in and everybody can talk to everybody, whether you're online, whether you're in the world, whether you're in Istanbul or whatever the case may be, and everybody engages. What's nice about what we did this changeover with a lot of our switching and a lot of wiring and everything else of this, which we undergone in the last 6 months, the music studio will be directly pinned into the media switches. Okay. Nice. And so basically what we'll do is if we wanted to pin into any of the locations already into the training room, into the music studios, and any of the locations, we can pin those directly into the switch and stream those directly out. All right. And so that is we had 12,000 square foot of direct streaming, all right, from one location. And it's a pretty wild endeavor, without a doubt.
That is excellent. So let me have people come a-calling to buy you out yet? Big studios?
No, but they want me to franchise. I can't franchise my brain. I can't franchise my brain. That's the funniest thing. Because all of this, and guys, you know, and we've said it before, is that all of this was developed from the years on the road and the years of in my systems and everything else like this. And I'm a studio drummer, player, clinician, and things of this nature. I've been a drummer for many, 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 many years. And I'm on more vinyl than I care to shake a stick at. I couldn't tell you whose vinyl is because I was a studio guy, you know. But
Ghost drummer, huh?
Case, yeah. So yeah, that's pretty good, right? The ghost drummer. Yeah. Who was he, you know? But then the fact itself out there to regain and relive this, I started pulling a lot of my old musicians back, all my old studio guys and things of this nature. And they're top players. They're top in the industries. And some of these guys themselves that are still playing, not playing, some of them, unfortunately, we lost a couple along the way. But you know, during the times themselves of me growing up, I grew up in all the bands that you remember, they were all good friends. And so we want to be able to pull from those guys, you know, and utilize their skills and talents already and bring them into the studios, whether it be rock, whether it be jazz, whether it be Christian, whether it be any type of form of expression. We want to be able to capture that and give them the highest level of quality we possibly can. Service, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Rich Hart,
Dan, you know, a lot of people don't realize this.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't think like this. They think silos. Musicians are content creators. A lot of people think, okay, podcasting is here and music is here. Listen, I mean, as someone who spent 28 years in the music business myself,
you did.
Now it's like content creators are just like musicians. And what Rich is doing is he stands in the center of this Venn diagram where he's like, hey, listen, you guys, the same thing with musicians and the same thing with business people and podcasters. They want a show. They just don't want to figure out how all this stuff works. Rich has it all figured out. right?
That's it.
And he could put the pieces in place to make sure that you have a worthwhile show that people will want to listen to and watch.
Exactly. Chris, one of the words we use around here often already is turnkey.
There you go.
And I want to be able to come in, flip a switch already, and go live. And that's basically what we've done. The operations, when you take a look at the operations center, what we have in the back from the main consoles, I call it the mothership, right? And so from the mothership back there, usually motherships will be operated anywhere between 10 to 15 people, all right, depending upon what they're doing. All right. We can do a lot of what we do now with one person, all right, in a type of client or a type of atmosphere we're doing here, but we can run the entire studios with 3 engineers. Okay, 3 people, what they used to do with 10 and 20. All right. And so kudos to the technology because that's changed tremendously. But just the way we've worked and developed the integration of the technology is probably the biggest key that we have.
Well, and kudos to you for staying with it, and because like you got to be a lifelong learner with this stuff because
right.
You wake up and you're already 6 hours behind with some tech or some AI thing that some wireless technology. And you're figuring out what works for the people that you serve,
right.
And you're looked at as the the expert, the advocate, and in helping them, and you do it because they don't have to.
That's right, and that's all I want them to do is bring their level of content, story, humor, entertainment, okay, and allow me to work the magic, or allow the team. I'm sorry, let's cut to the chase. Allow the team to work the magic, all right, so we can bring the best of light to you. Your content, your story, your level of entertainment. I've had people themselves walk off the stage and turn around and call me like Sunday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. It says, that was the best experience I ever had. And I want to do my final show there. Great. Prerequisite is if it's your final show itself, you have to be able to walk out the front door after you're done. We don't do any of that final resting place stuff, But if we can open those doors and recreate or create a sense of maybe motivation, maybe inspiration, or maybe a sense of onus, already, and give people the opportunity to expound on what they have. Sometimes it takes a little bit, all right, to make a giant-sized leap, already, and that's what we hope to do. That's what I'm looking to do, to really engage as many people as I possibly can along the way. Deej, where have we heard that before, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Rich, this is actually more exciting than I thought it would be. I mean, it's
not, man.
He had low expectations, Rich. He had low expectations.
It's just, it's not a studio. It's a lifestyle. When you started talking about that content creating by being, musician and that whole thing, my head just opened up. That's the whole kit and caboodle. Right. Come in with your idea and you'll leave with content.
That's right.
Content that you can be proud of, that you can use, and you'll have a fun experience along the way. You did throw me for a loop because I'm terribly dyslexic. And you said we do turnkey. And, so we have people come in here and flip the switch. Well, why don't they just turn the key? Why are you putting a switch in there? I'm all for plunge it now.
Chris, can you help me out with this?
I don't know. Yeah. Once or twice a show, Rich, it just goes off the rails. I mean,
it's going off the rail, but it's true. It is. I had the pleasure of doing a little thing for East Cobb Business Association the other day, and generally when you do these things, you hook up with the crew. They put a lavalier mic on you and say, "All right, see you later, potato." But prior to, and this is just like a little pissant event. This isn't a giant thing, but everybody gets treated like a king. And so I was there, and prior to the event, all right, huddle up, and the whole team can for a little team meeting to get everybody on the same page with me, the speaker, the talent, whatever, as the king. And they totally took care of me and, try to ease the process. And I guess it made the event better when people are calmer. It's the full service treatment you get at Rich Hart Global. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate that because that's part of the service. That's the extension of your experience, or that's the extension of the time that you're here. All right. And we've had many people themselves come through, very popular, very successful business people, special teams themselves that come in from all over the country, individuals themselves. It's funny because we had one team come out of New York. All right. Paid audience. All right. Here 2 days, 19 comedians, 19 live shows. All right. In 2 days, sealed them up when they got a chance to see the facility. All right. And what you guys were talking about before, when we got a chance to see the facility and everything we do, not only did we do the finals, not only we do the color correction, not only we did the final because it's going to TV, going to air. All righty. And on top of that, all right, this was the funniest thing. He turned around and he says, I don't even believe we spent so much less than we would have spent later on. All right. Because I think it's extremely important to ourselves that we price right. All right. For the market. All right. And give you a quality product. And I can't tell you how many people themselves enjoy that. And in fact, I'm not here to rape the system. I'm here to engage. And I think it's more an engagement to people already and their projects and their end result than more is the money, you know? And I think, I don't know, maybe it's an age thing. All right. I know my guys want to get paid every week, but for the most part, I just enjoy that. And I think, Chris, you had something before, what motivates me. And I think to see the smile on other people's face, or when they leave and they said, we really had a great time, or it was very successful, or we love your team. And I'm going to say sometimes, I wish it was that way 100% of the time. Sometimes we may fall. All right. Sometimes we may fall, but I know I'm going to pick it up. All right. One, I'm not going to do it again. And then we're going to instruct the teams themselves and make sure itself we've got I's dotted, T's crossed for the next time, because it will come back, you know? And so I'm always looking to increase. And that's the same thing, Deej, that you do in sales. It's the same thing we talk about all the time. This is, Chris, same thing we do in casting and the things of this nature, and getting it out and then letting people know itself that we're here to help them and be an advocate, all right, and really give them a fighting chance, all right, to doing what they need to do, you know? And that's what I've been doing for years. And maybe, guys, that's probably what I've carried on. And that's why it carries into the business too as well. So we love what you do. You got to love what you do what you love. And this is just
that's awesome. Can you believe, Rich Hart, that was an hour?
Heck, no. I'm looking at my clock right now. It says that's pretty good. That's about an hour.
That's we call it being unbedigeable.
Well,
listen, I really appreciate for those of you out there, anybody watching, anybody, you know, thinking, if you have some ideas that you want to get, the beauty is it's an easy process to do, to go ahead and make that content, but even better, the deliverable with those videos and whatever you get made and the content you have there, that's yours forever. That's your content forever. You pay for it once and you could utilize it for the rest of your life. It's a beautiful experience when you can have quality material delivered to you and it's yours to use, and you don't have to license anything ever again. It's magic. It doesn't happen often, and it only happens at Rich Hart Studios. I would encourage everybody to give him a call. It sounds because it's so much, you think it's going to be out of your price range. It's not. No. He's the man.
No. Yeah. I'll leave you guys with one thought, if I could, you know.
Yes.
And all the rest of the companies and everything else I do and things of this nature, I tell people all the time, I says, if you can think of it, if you can dream of it, all right, most likely we have actually produced it, developed it, or put it into practice. Already, and that's both from manufacturing, distribution, supply, and servicing. It's hard for me to say no. It is, and it's really hard for me to say no. That can't be done. And if not, we'll find a way to do it. We've had individuals themselves in the studios that had some impairments, individuals that couldn't see, or individuals themselves that didn't have a direct hearing, and couldn't see or couldn't work in the direction of the technology we had. And so I adapted additional technology just to get them, all right, to feel, all right, that they were part of the program. And so give me your biggest challenge. I'd love to take it on. All right.
I can't think of a better way to end it there. Rich Hart, you're awesome. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Stick around for a minute after we end.
You got
Chris Stone, once again.
Let's give it up for Chris.
Extraordinaire. I mean,
good job.
He makes everybody look good. And
Stop.
you can never he's like you, Rich Hart. You can't throw anything at him that he doesn't knock out of the park.
That's
Except
weird.
when I have to look up
Appreciate
something
you guys
on
for watching.
Spotify,
Just remember, listen,
right?
the content that you make today is going to be lasting for the rest of your life. You got to keep up with the technology and keep doing it and get it out there. If you make this stuff, but you don't get it out there, it's as if you didn't make it at all. So take some action today. You're the best. I'm the Deej. Let's go get them.